Hey, this is Glendon, and just a few announcements. The introduction to the storage auction webinar starts tonight, 9 p.m. If you didn't sign up, you can sign up right now. It is going off. Last week I had some technical difficulties. Weird stuff was happening. I have no idea what the hell was happening, but I have a plan A and a plan B. So regardless of what happens, the webinar will be going on tonight. Also, coming up very shortly will be the Pimping Craigslist webinar. For those who took the first one, you are automatically included. No, it's not set up, so you don't have a link, but when it's set up, you will get a link, and it's going to be radically different. This technical difficulty thing just taught me a lot, and actually it's going to make for better webinars in the future, and I'm going to be doing a lot more, just to let you know. Also thinking about doing away with the storage auction ebook. It seems that overwhelmingly 9 out of 10 people like the printed book more so than the ebook. I get a lot of people, it's like, hey, I want the printed book, I want the printed book. So there's going to be a little surprise for those who participate in the webinar tonight. Also, a lot of different changes are going on. There's a lot of stuff that's going on, so you want to stay tuned. So, as always, subscribe, comment. Please leave a smart ass comment. I really like those. And share. Alright. This is funny. I remember this unit, and it is one of the best units that I ever bought in terms of the interest, the neat factor. What I paid for the unit, which was only $80, I did very well. Very, very well. I bought this unit at a place called Meridian Storage. It no longer exists in the name of Meridian Storage. It is now Extra Space in Midtown off Virginia Avenue. At the time, it was a sealed bid, and I got the unit, like I said, for little or nothing. It was a 10 by 10, and this was back in the days when it was a bunch of boxes, and people didn't really care about boxes like they do now. You know, they see boxes now, and they get a Woody. It's like, shoo! You know, next thing you know, they're poking the chick in front of them, and they're like, 6 inches back. I got the unit, and really I could have got it for $20 because that was like the second highest bid. Another reason that I'm not real crazy about sealed bid. I get the unit, and that was the time that I was really new, and it was like I couldn't wait to get into the unit. It was just like, I was starving, and there was a Big Mac, and I was just eating everything in the paper included. Go to the office, pay, go back, and they have to give you a code. And this place, 90% of the units are on the inside, so you could be going up, down, you can get lost. It could be a freaking maze. At the time, it was a maze to me because that was my maybe third or fourth time there. I go back to the unit, and I start pulling through stuff, and it's a gay guy. At the time, I didn't really know that gay guys had the best stuff, but I was going in there, and I was pulling out stuff, and I saw something, and I thought it was funny because it doesn't air anymore, but when I was a kid, there was this show called Kasem, America's Top 40. And they'd come on and they'd play the top 40 songs of the week with the best ratings. But the thing is, what I didn't know until I bought this unit was that they pre-recorded these shows and placed them on records. I didn't know Casey was I didn't know he wasn't broadcasting live. So they had all these records pressed up and sent to the affiliate radio stations. Well, this guy was a DJ, and he had buku Kasem promos. I mean, the thing is to say, not for resale, not for reproduction, please destroy. They were supposed to play them, then destroy them, but this guy was saving them for years. He was just stacking them up, like he was a squirrel and they were nuts. He was just stack. And I didn't really know what they were worth. And then I went home and I put one on eBay, and immediately the eBay people were like, shoot, they were on it. And there was a reason they were on it, because one guy told me, he said, hey, I'll pay you $80 for it because eBay is not going to be up here long. I said, what do you mean? It's like Vero's going to pull it down. So, here's my email address. Then all these guys, like, I get 40 people, like, bam, here's my information. Here, real quick, I want it. And sure enough, the dreaded eBay, dun. Your listing has been removed because it violated Vero. And I was like, what? But I still had the contact information of all these people. And they didn't know that I had not one, not two, not three, not four, but about 50 Casey Kasem American Top 40, playlist. And, the first guy who was, he's offering me what I paid for the unit for just one. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to talk to this guy. And this is what's really, really funny about this. It's like eBay took it down, but all these people were able to pay me using PayPal. I don't understand. I don't understand. I didn't have a problem. So the guy, I email him and I'd say, hey, look, I have several more. And then, I get this all caps, really? Let me know what you have. So I'm going through and listing the dates and times and everything. And, the guy just like sends me his phone number. Call me. So I call him and he's like, do you know what you have? I was like, no, I don't know what I have. He's like, that is a very comprehensive list. It's probably the most comprehensive list that I've ever come across, because most people I talk to, they'll have 10 or they may have, maybe 15, which is a lot. But for you to have that many, he's like, look, for one, it's very hard to get these things because that there's a really tight lock on them. And he said, look, I will pay you $6,000 for all of them. And I was just like, yeah, eyes was like, hooty hoo. I'm like, what? And, I was still a businessman, and I actually sent some more emails to some other people, and, my instincts were right, because everyone else was like, oh, I'll give you $1,200. I'll give you $1,500. The second highest offer was $3,000. And I was like, this guy's like, bam, from jump, I'll pay you $6,000, everything. So, in the long story short, I make the deal, and first problem with PayPal. It's like, this is a large trend, blah, 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 blah. And I had already sent the stuff. And fortunately, I sent it FedEx because it was a lot, and I sent it in 3 packages. I sent them tracking number, and they talked to him, and he said, I got it. He was happy, and they released the money. It was very short funny. But, that's the first time I had a problem with PayPal. Then to the rest of the unit. Like I said, he was a gay guy, right? He was a gay guy. And I'm going through the unit, and there's like all these designer jeans, and there's these high-end Italian boots and shoes, and essentially that was like another $2,000 on eBay. And, I'm just like, can it get any better? And it does. He has letters. He has a journal. He has home movies. Thank God they weren't porn. And incidentally, he didn't have any porn. This first gay guy that did not have any porn. He didn't have any naked pictures or any of that stuff. He was a radio station producer, and for some reason, he was just collecting all this stuff. But the letters were gold. They were like, coming out letters, and letters to his father, and you don't understand me, and you just don't know, and I'm your son, and I'm just reading this stuff, and some of it would just make a great movie. Seriously, I don't know what it is to be gay and to come out. I hear it's a challenge, and many people who are gay won't come out, and they just keep playing both sides of the fence. But that's a whole nother video. And I'm just like, it was really, really, really interesting, because here's a guy who was, by many standards, a very attractive guy with a great job, that's surrounded around all these hot babes, and he ain't interested in any of them. I'm like, why? It just happens like that. It just happens like that. But, it was really, really interesting unit, and I may or may not do an in-depth write-up about it, because this guy is someone you can find out, and he's still alive. That much I know, and, it's keeping with the rules since 2009. We don't mention names. We don't expose anybody. Essentially, we don't snitch anyone out. It's bad enough they lost their unit. But it was so interesting. You just don't understand. It was so interesting. And I didn't know that Casey Kasem, I knew he was big because when I was a kid, he was a voice on the radio. And anyone that was on the radio, they were big. It was like, that's big shit. You're on the radio. That was enough. I didn't know how huge he was, because there was the playlist, and there was contracts, and there was numbers. Casey Kasem was huge, and huge for a very, very long time. But that was before the internet, because I don't know how he would fare right now, because back then you just had the radio stations. Everything was kind of controlled by a small group of guys, whereas today everything's just wide ass open. So I don't know. But that is kind of stuff that you can come across in storage auctions. It didn't look like a lot, It really was a very nondescript unit. It was just boxes and stuff, and it was not real neat, and it was just like halfway neat and halfway torn asunder. And that's what was in there. And this is just, I did a lot of off eBay deals. I'll say that now because a lot of people did it, because I had people that contacted me and they just essentially walked me through the process. I was like, well, this is what we're going to do. Oh yeah, I do this all the time. And eBay, that's one of the reasons eBay is just like, put the clamps down, and you must communicate with people through the eBay system, because they know they were probably losing 60% of their sales for the folks who knew, because that 10% can be huge, dude. It can be huge. And made those sales. And a lot of that stuff I'm going to talk about. People were like, could you bring back, getting in the black eBay book? No. I'm going to be real straight up about that. eBay has made so many changes that if you implemented some of that stuff, you're going to get suspended like that. Just letting you know, you're going to get suspended. I may bring it back with proceed at your own risk, but just letting you know, I wouldn't feel good about selling you the book, then you put the stuff in and bam, your account's gone. What good is that? How can you make money if your account's suspended? But there's some things I may change up just to let you know. But those are the type of things that I did, and there are still people doing that stuff. But that's what you get, and you understand. I didn't really think that unit was that exciting. I didn't really think it was that great. I was just like, wow, I got it cheap, and that was my big high. So once again, there's something that's not that exciting. I guess that would be the wow factor, though. Come to think of it, I guess that would be. Maybe, maybe not. But that's the deal. So once again, subscribe, share, and please leave a smart ass comment. And someone actually left a smart ass comment, and I was like, okay, I love that stuff. You just leave them. I appreciate it. All right, this is Glendon, making money with storage unit auctions.